In 14th place, we have episode 4, Good Morning Bitches, which is Charlie Hides versus Trinity Taylor to I Wanna Go by Britney Spears. So it's almost comedic seeing Trinity fight like her life depended on it, and Charlie just, stands there. As infuriating as it is how Charlie gave up and how disrespectful it is to Trinity, I just had to put this in last place for these exact reasons. I don't want this to take away from Trinity's performance, though, because she very clearly worked, really hard. You can tell because of the shot of her breathing, really heavily and, panting. And she pulls out stunts, dropping to her knees and hair flips and ass wobbles. And for me, the best part of the lip sync, where she does, a roll and then, punches the air to show she's, really fighting. This lip sync's iconic for Charlie not doing anything and just giving up, but I think that really does overshadow Trinity's outstanding performance. In 13th place, we have episode 5, Kardashian the Musical, which is Cynthia Lee Fontaine versus Pheromone to Woman Up by Meghan Trainor. Not only is this lip sync really unmemorable, it's also completely unnecessary, because Eureka is eliminated afterwards because of her injury, and it just feels like the emotional torment. It's not nice to do to the two queens. I guess the lip syncs are the most important part of the episode, but I feel like having Cynthia and Farrah kind of accept that either one of them is going to be eliminated, and then eliminating someone who was safe, it would be very, emotionally upsetting for them. I don't know if it's just me, but I think putting them through that for the sake of TV, it is a reality TV show at the end of the day, but I feel like that's kind of cruel. But anyway, back to the matter in hand. The lip sync feels very awkward. Farrah looks like a baby queen performing in her bedroom mirror, and Cynthia, her performance style doesn't quite fit. And when it came to choosing the best part, I kind of went with the bridge of the song where Farrah slows the pace down and puts her hand to her ear, mimicking the vocal run of the song, but this one's unmemorable, kind of boring, and nothing really happens. In 12th place, we have episode 8, RuPaul's Roast, which is Alexis Michelle versus Pheromone to Baby I'm Burning by Dolly Parton. This is another one that falls into the unmemorable category, and it's only just slightly better than the previous because of the energy of the song itself. The lip sync starts off okay, with both queens having a bit of fun with it, but I feel like Alexis's dancing kind of makes this one awkward. I don't want to sound mean, but I don't know. With that being said, Farrah does practically nothing in this lip sync, which is a shame because it is a really fun song. But the best part for me is when Alexis runs from the back of the stage and does a huge sliding split towards the end of the song. In 11th place, we have episode 9, Your Pilot's on Fire, which is Nina Bonina Brown versus Valentina to Greedy by Ariana Grande. This lip sync is so legendary because of Valentina's storyline of her being such a strong competitor, well on track to getting the crown, and then everything just comes crashing down when she forgets the words. I remember the first time I saw this and I was absolutely gagged that Valentina was eliminated like that. Like the Trinity versus Charlie lip sync, I do think this overshadowed Nina's performance, of which is actually really quite good. She had a lot of fun with it, and the contrast between what she's wearing, the skeleton phase, and then the song itself is quite hilarious. But the best part for me is when Nina drops to her knees and emotes a vocal run in the song, and she just all around has a lot of fun in the lip sync, and I do really feel for Valentina here, but, there's nothing you can do to change that. She came back for All Stars, and she slayed the game, and she's very successful now, and she's fierce. She's a fierce-ass queen. In 10th place, we have episode 10, Makeovers, Crew Better Work, which is Shea Coulee versus Nina Bonina Brown to Cool for the Summer by Demi Lovato. I remember being significantly underwhelmed by the performances in this lip sync, kind of left with lip sync blue balls, I guess. Nina by this point had completely given up, which made me mad because she didn't realise that she was so unique and talented and had so much potential and was actually doing really quite well. Then I felt that seeing Shea lip sync for the first time, knowing how strong of a competitor she is and how fierce she is, it would be incredible. But it was just kind of lackluster. I do think this was down to the dress she was wearing, though. I mean, it's kind of hard to lip sync to a song like Call for the Summer in a gown, but she couldn't really have prepared for that. However, she did emote the sexiness of the song and had the right attitude for it in her face, so I think she tried to make up for it. It was just kind of lackluster. But the best part for me is the first chorus where Shay drops and then, twirls her arms. I can't really describe it, but obviously I'll show it. I think it's very fierce, very cool. But overall, the lip sync is not that great. In 9th place, we have episode 12. Category is, which is Peppermint versus Sasha Velour versus Shea Coulee versus Trinity Taylor to You Wear It Well by RuPaul. This one isn't placed fairly high because of the lip sync itself, but because of how talented this top 4 is. This is one of the strongest top 4s in Drag Race history. And they all bring something so new and fresh to the table. It's just incredible. And obviously, one of them won Season 9, one of them won All Stars 4, one of them won All Stars 5. And Peppermint has her show. You know, she does a lot of stuff with Bob the Drag Queen. And I really think if she came back for All Stars, she would slay the game. I also want to give a special mention to each of the queens' outfits here. They all look so beautiful and it represents their styles of drag perfectly. And of course, this is before they introduce the new type of finale where the queens go head to head and lip sync for the crown in a live finale. I don't have a best part for this lip sync, but I placed it so high just because of the queens involved. In 8th place, we have episode 2, She Done Already Done Brought It On, which is James Mansfield versus Kimora Black to Love Shack by the B-52s. Now, this is the first lip sync of the season, given that the first episode had no elimination and actually brought someone back instead, Cynthia Lee Fontaine. With that being said, I think this lip sync starts the season off really quite well. The song demands a really campy and energetic performance, and James definitely delivers that, for sure. I think in comparison to Kimora, James understood the campiness of the song a lot better, and that's why I find this elimination a little questionable. But I guess it was kind of set up right from the second James walked into the workroom. The queen's talking about how she looks really awkward and uncomfortable, and then doesn't really do very well in the Lady Gaga challenge, and then was just kind of falling into the background. I think it was kind of set up from the beginning. I do think Kimora looks beautiful, though, and she does look like she's having quite a bit of fun. I just think she tried to look sexy in the wrong type of song. But the best part for me is where Kimora, mimes holding a gun, and then James, lip syncs the male part of the song, and it's very fun and campy and very on brand for James. I really do hope she comes back for All Stars or maybe competes in another season or whatever, because she does have a lot to show. We've seen that, off Drag Race. And it would be great to see her on our screens again, maybe with a bit more confidence this time. In 7th place, we have episode 6, Snatch Game, which is Cynthia Lee Fontaine versus Peppermint to Music by Madonna. Peppermint absolutely served in this performance. Literally every time she's on screen, she is delivering something new and is just having the time of her life. Actually, rather than choosing a best part right here, I'm just going to include some of my favourite Peppermint moments because it's just so hard to choose from all of them. Sadly for Cynthia, she just couldn't keep up with Pep, and her poorly timed split and then Rue's reaction to that kind of seals her fate. She does try though, and does look like she's enjoying performing in front of these people to this song. I really like this lip sync personally, and it really cemented Peppermint's place in the competition as a threat. I mean, she goes on to become second place in this season, so she definitely was a threat. In 6th place, we have episode 11, The Gayest Ball, which is Peppermint versus Alexis Michelle to Macho Man by the Village People. Just like the Love Shack lip sync, this song demands a very campy performance, and both queens deliver this, as well as having lots of fun. Peppermint brings her signature high-energy, bubbly and enthusiastic performance style, strutting around, revealing wigs, and having a laugh and just straight up turning it out. However, just like her lip sync against Pheromone, Alexis's performance is kind of cringy, and Rue's reaction to her makes me feel like she would agree. I do like her mustache reveal, though, I will say that. And like Peppermint, she does have a lot of fun. I mean, it's the last lip sync before the finale. It's a fun song, so I think the queens just decided to have a good time with it and not take it too seriously. The queens at the back are having a great time. The judges are having a great time. I had a great time watching it. Yeah, I think it's just an all-round fun lip sync. And the best part for me, I could choose a few, but in the end, I went with Peppermint's funky walk thing that she does. It's very funny. It's very campy. It fits with the song. I love Peppermint. Can you tell I love Peppermint? In 5th place, we have episode 14, finale lip sync number 3, which is Peppermint versus Sasha Velour to It's Not Right But It's Okay by Whitney Houston. So right out the gate, both queens have the perfect attitude for this song and deliver every single lyric and movement with confidence and passion. Sasha's unique reveal is very on brand for her, and I absolutely adore what Peppermint is wearing. Speaking of Peppermint, she delivers her performance directly into Rue's eyes, taking all the attention for herself and showers herself in glitter, which is the best way to shower. Of course, the climax of the song, my favourite part, where the two queens scream the "You were making a fool of me" part is so intense, and the music and the energy comes pouring out of both the queens. And the lip sync also ends on a high, with both queens channeling Whitney Houston and leaving the audience blown away. In 4th place, we have episode 3, Draggily Ever After, which is Kimora Black versus Aja to Holding Out for a Hero by Bonnie Tyler. First of all, I love this lip sync because of Aja's storyline that they were really kind of cocky and needed to be brought back down to earth a little bit. And this bottom 2 placement absolutely did that for them. Then this performance just proved that Aja has the goods to back it up. They turned this lip sync out. From the second the music starts, Aja dominates the stage and wipes the floor with Kimora, who, again, tries a little too hard to look sexy for the wrong type of song. This one's more fierce and power and attitude, and I think she just kind of had the wrong idea. I mean, it's very on brand for Kimora, don't get me wrong. She's a very gorgeous woman, but just for these songs that she was in, it's not... It would have been all the more impressive if she'd have done something completely out the box and really fought for it, but I guess that's not Kimora's performance style. Speaking of Kimora, she tried too hard for the both queens drop at the same time, yes, boots the house down, whatever kind of moment, and when it happens, just the focus is all on Aja. And also, I feel like Kimora doesn't know the words properly, or if she is, when she lip syncs, she barely moves her mouth. But the best part for me is the previous moment, obviously, where they both drop at the same time, and Aja does a kicking death drop. It's amazing. But I also want to give a special mention to this cinematic masterpiece. This deserves all the awards. In 3rd place, we have episode 14, finale performance 1, which is Trinity Taylor versus Peppermint to Stronger by Britney Spears. This is such a powerful performance to such a powerful song by two powerful queens. I personally think Trinity started the lip sync out stronger, no pun intended, than Peppermint did. Kind of fighting harder for her place in the top 2, revealing her iconic tuck and ass at the beginning of the first chorus. But I think the queens had 2 different energies. And hear me out on this. I feel like it might be a little bit far-fetched, but I'm going to stick with it. I think Trinity was showing off her personal strength and, where she's at in her confidence as a drag queen and as a performer. But I think Peppermint was more telling the story of her finding her strength, because the entire opening part of it, she's kind of feeling as though she's about to find her strength, as the lyrics would suggest. And then she does her iconic reveal, and I think that's her finding a strength, and then she goes on to perform like Peppermint normally would. So maybe it's just the story of her, and, it might possibly on a personal level link to her being a trans woman. But I just think that might be the reason why she chose to have it kind of slow and steady at the beginning and not really do much, and then put it into, full overdrive power by the end of it. Anyway, I kind of went on a bit of a ramble there, but hopefully you followed what I was saying. I mean, the second Peppermint does her legendary dress and blonde wig reveal, she had won that lip sync, and that is, without a doubt, the best part of it. In second place, we have episode 7, 9021 Ho, which is Aja versus Nina Bonina Brown to Finally by CC Peniston. By this point, we know that both Nina and Aja are very fierce performers. I mean, very fierce. And they go head to head in this really underrated lip sync. They both channel the right energy and deliver us a really entertaining performance that, personally, is one of my all-time favourites. Aja and Nina are both two of my favourite queens, and to see them perform together is absolutely amazing. I think Aja chose not to repeat the stunts they did in their lip sync against Kimura and show us something new, but I think because Aja did so much in their first performance, you know, like the death drops and the high kicks and everything, I think maybe they used everything in their wheelhouse and didn't have much to go off on this one, but I could be completely wrong, I don't know. But that might have been their downfall. I did love their catwheel into a jump split though, that's very impressive. I wish I could do that. But the best part for me is when the two queens do the same backbend on the same part of the song with Nina on her knees and Aja standing above her. And I also want to give a special mention to Nina duck walking and then wobbling her boobs. Like, that is legendary. In first place, we have episode 14, Finale Performance 2, which is Sasha Velour versus Shea Coulee to So Emotional by Whitney Houston. This is the lip sync of all lip syncs, and we all know why. First of all, the storyline that Shea and Sasha, who became best friends on the show, go against each other so close to the crown to decide who of them would make it to the top two. It's gonna be one of them. And it must have been shattering for them to have come this far and then one of them take the idea of winning the crown away from them. But we got such an incredible performance out of it. Shea's downfall for sure was the fact that she had no epic reveal or anything like that. But her overall performance in her face and movement was really powerful. And I think because this is the first time that they'd ever lip-synced against each other for the crown in front of a live audience, maybe she wasn't too sure on how to, win everybody over. But obviously now, after that's all kind of escalated and stuff, people do reveals and whatever. I mean, Brooklyn Heights makes fun of the reveal in season 11. But this is where it all started. So I've got to give props to Shea for that. And then Sasha. Oh boy, Sasha. She changed the art of wig reveals forever. Slowly releasing more and more rose petals from her gloves, and then the legendary moment as she lifts her wig and rose petals fall all down her face and all down her body to the climax of the song, revealing her signature Valorian bald head. Ooh, I get chills every single time I watch this. Every time. It is perfection. It is such a good performance. I remember the first time I saw this and my jaw was on the floor. I can't even describe it. My jaw was on the floor and I was like, this is it. This is the best lip sync I have seen in my life.